All hail a beard, it's your boy Big Beard B, and we back for another edition of Big Beard Business. If you've ever wondered why so many celebrities dive headfirst into the world of fragrance, I think the answer is simple. Business is booming. Yes, man, business is booming. The world of fragrance is blowing up year over year, and it continues to happen over and over and over again. And here's the thing, man. We are in a world today where not one fragrance will cut it. In today's world, wearing a fragrance has become an everyday staple, and they are creating fragrances for every occasion and for everyone. Simply put, wearing fragrances has become a luxury that is quite affordable. So a lot of people are opting to do so, men and women alike. Fragrances can be an extension of you, and generally speaking, it's an acceptable form of self-expression. As a fragrance collector and avid fragrance wearer, I understand that the right fragrance can have you feeling special, it can have you feeling more confident, it can have you feeling more attractive, and I think those around you can understand that as well, especially when done correctly. So to ensure that you and those around you really get to experience the fragrances as intended, I'm going to give you 5 fragrance etiquette rules all men should know. Fragrance etiquette rule number 1 is to wear the right fragrance for the right occasion. Listen, man, wearing a fragrance is a privilege because, well, it's not free, and therefore you should wear it responsibly. Listen, man, I've been talking to people out there forever and a day about wearing fragrances for the appropriate occasions, and let's dive into that a bit more today. Wearing fragrances really depends on 1, your personality type, and 2, what's going on around you. If you have a wide selection of fragrances like I do, or if you're just diving into it and really trying to understand what fragrances you should wear for what occasion, there are a few things to keep in mind. Generally speaking, you want to keep your heavier fragrances reserved for those nighttime occasions. Wear your lighter fragrances throughout the day, but you also want to make sure that, again, the fragrance suits the situation. If you have a powerful, power-heavy fragrance or a heavy fragrance that's going to just pop and jump off the skin, you want to ensure that you are limiting those wearings and occasions where you're going to, experience things like that. If you are going to be on a plane in close quarter situation, then you don't want something that's going to be super strong, uber powerful, and throw those around you off their game. Same thing goes if you're going to be in a place like a funeral. If you have a fragrance like 1 Million, often referred to as a club banger, a compliment monster, but a club banger. This one jumps off the skin, it cuts through a ton. You don't want to wear that to a funeral or maybe even to a hospital if you are a doctor or a nurse. So some of those things you should keep in mind when selecting the appropriate fragrance. Make sure, again, you are taking into account the people you will be around and the type of situations that you'll be within. Keep your heavier, darker fragrances for the winter time, unless you want to just change it up a bit, and also keep those lighter, brighter, fresher fragrances for the daytime, as that's when they'll be generally accepted. Fragrance etiquette rule number 2. And this one may seem very simple, but I think a lot of people really overlook this one, and I'm going to help you out today. So first things first is to understand that wearing a fragrance is a matter of personal grooming and personal hygiene, and should be treated as such. Simply put, what I mean is this: apply your fragrances in private. Yes, in private. Understand that 1, not everyone around you is going to enjoy the fragrances that you are wearing. Although we're trying to make sure they do enjoy them, they may not always enjoy them. So spraying your fragrances just willy-nilly out and about in a crowd, well, may not go as you anticipate. So try to apply your fragrances, 1, at home is probably the best option. You can also apply in your car, but just make sure you are not around someone. I think in most cases, most people would opt not to brush their teeth in front of people, pick their nose, pick their ears. You get get where I'm going with this. These are all matters of personal grooming and personal hygiene and should be treated as such. So to ensure that the fragrance gets properly settles onto the skin or onto your clothes, however you decide to rock it, make sure you're applying these things in private and then be prepared to attack the world. So number 2 was about applying in private. And number 3 is really just double clicking and zooming in on that a bit more. Number 3 tip is fairly simple, but this is to not reapply throughout the work day. Listen, I understand it could be tempting. You could say, you know what, Big B, I sprayed this thing on and I cannot smell it anymore. Just because you can't smell it anymore does not mean that your friends, your colleagues at work, your boss is not able to smell it. Look, and I get it, man. You might have just went out to a hibachi grill for lunch, you know, feel like you smell all grilly. I'll just try to make sure that you keep these things in mind. It's likely that olfactory fatigue has set in and you personally are no longer able to smell that fragrance, but likely others around you are able to smell it. Now listen, I get it. Those top notes, boom, pop you and you really enjoy those, but make sure that you are not doing this because you may be over applying, which is going to turn an enjoyable experience into something, well, not so much. The 4th fragrance etiquette tip is one that I think is also often overlooked, but it's fairly simple, but it also can be a bit heartbreaking, and that is to dump and throw away, discard, whatever you want to call it, old fragrances. Now I get it, you know, you're Big B. I had this fragrance in my collection and it's still ticking. And listen, that's a good thing, okay? Listen, if you are properly storing your fragrances, the lifespan of a fragrance can be far extended beyond what the expiration date is within the box. However, no matter how hard you try, sometimes things just go, well, not so well. And this is a perfect example here. Sometimes by spraying an old fragrance on, it's not going to perform as you intended, which is going to allow you to have to do more sprays to make sure that people can smell it. And then it's also not going to have the same type of scent profile. So I decided to keep this fragrance in my possession until I filmed this video. But this one has to go. This one is Burberry for Men, one that I really enjoy, especially for the fall and winter time. This one's been in my collection for a long time, but I don't know. Something just happened to it. It went bad. All right, so I'm going to try to wipe this off here, let some of the dust settle. I said dust settle, but here we go. Hopefully you guys were able to see that, man. Sometimes these fragrances just go bad, and anytime that you spray a fragrance on and you just like, yeah, something just isn't right here. If you can expect further, like you can see these little floaty things around in this thing, that obviously this thing is bad. Now understand, sometimes you may spend a lot of money on a fragrance, you did not dive into it as much as you would want to, and you are no longer able to use it. That just comes with the game, baby. You gotta respect it. So make sure you aren't holding on to these fragrances once they expire, because you're not going to get the performance you expect, which is just going to cause a ton of other issues, up to and including you just smelling stanky. So make sure you discard and throw away old fragrances. And the 5th and final etiquette rule that I think that all men should know when wearing fragrances is that you must wear them responsibly and do not fish for compliments. Yes, man, don't go out there looking for compliments. If you are like me, you wear fragrances because you want to receive compliments. They make you feel good. They have this change on your mood. However, you're not out there searching to get compliments. So what that means is you're not going to walk up to your coworker and say, hey, do I smell great? Do I smell amazing? If so, tell me. No, you don't want to do that. Compliments should be genuine. They should be unsolicited. They should come around with wearing the fragrance as well as how you put yourself together. Oftentimes, a lot of guys be like, yo, B, I'm not getting compliments when I'm wearing these fragrances. You're telling me they smell amazing. I watched the weekly fragrance rotation, but I've yet to receive a compliment. Listen, there's a lot of things that go into it. One, how you present yourself, how many sprays that you do, and how it works on your skin in itself. But you don't want to be that weird guy within the office that everyone talks about behind their back that is coming up and asking for compliments, all right? Allow those things to be genuine, allow them to flow naturally, and you will likely get them. Make sure that you have a good personality and you're just, out there. Head up, chest out. That's what I always say, man. Head up, chest out. Make sure that you're confident and bold in wearing your fragrances, and the compliments should come along with it. Those are 5 simple, easy fragrance etiquette tips that I believe all men should know. Did I miss any? Do you feel like any are more important than those that we spoke about today? We've already talked in the past of how to apply fragrance like a boss, the proper places to wear fragrance, and this here is about the etiquette in terms of wearing fragrances. I would love to know your thoughts and opinions. Don't forget to comment down below and let me know. As always, I'm your boy, Big B. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend that we are back again. And you already know what I need you to do. Yes, sir. You know the etiquette. Just hit the goddamn bell.